Open the drawer. You know the one. The one in the kitchen or the bathroom cabinet where the eardrops live. Go ahead and count them. One bottle half full, another one you barely opened, a third that expired sometime last year. Every one of those bottles is a night you drove to the vet, a bill you paid, a promise that this time it would finally stick. And it did stick, for about 2 weeks. And then you heard it again, that wet, heavy flap, flap, flap coming down the hallway. The sound of your best friend shaking their head so hard their ears slap against their skull, and that low, tired scratching that starts up the second you sit down to relax. You add up what you've spent, and it makes you a little sick. Not because you wouldn't spend 10 times more for them. You would. It's because you're starting to wonder, quietly, why you can never, ever make it truly stop. But what if I told you that you were never actually failing? What if I told you that the drops weren't the wrong medicine, and you weren't the wrong owner, and your dog isn't somehow broken? What if the reason this keeps coming back has almost nothing to do with the bottle in your hand, and everything to do with a tiny piece of anatomy that no one ever explained to you? Stay with me, because once you can see it, you can't unsee it, and it changes how you handle those ears forever. Hi everyone, I'm Dr. Ben Carter, your neighborhood veterinarian, and I want you to know something before we go one step further. Recurring ear trouble is one of the single most common things pet parents ask me about. It is not a sign that you dropped the ball. I have sat across from more exhausted, guilty, frustrated dog owners on this exact topic than almost any other, and they all say a version of the same thing. Dr. Ben, I clean them, I use the drops, I do everything right, and it just keeps coming back. So if that's you, take a breath. There's no guilt in my clinic, only education and love. You're in the right place. Here's where we're headed together. First, I'm going to show you why the drops keep failing, and it's not the reason you think. Second, I'm going to hand you a gentle routine you can start tonight, with things you almost certainly already own. And third, we're going to talk about the deeper cause underneath all of it, the one that keeps refilling this cycle, so you can finally get ahead of it instead of always chasing it. If that sounds good, do me one small favor and hit that subscribe button so I can keep making these for you and your best friend. And if you're the type who likes to take notes, this might be a good moment to grab a notebook. Now let's talk about why nothing has worked. Here is the trap, and almost every loving owner falls into it. Every time the ears flare up, we treat it like a brand new emergency, a one-off fire. We rush in, we grab the drops, we put out the flames, and we feel relieved. And then, a couple of weeks later, the fire is back, and we do it all over again. But think about what we never do in that whole cycle. We never once stop and ask the most important question of all. Why does this particular dog's ears keep turning into a swamp in the first place? You weren't treating the wrong dog. You were treating the wrong problem. And I want to be really clear and really fair here because this matters. The eardrops your vet gave you are genuinely helpful. For a lot of dogs, they're exactly the right tool, and they do real good. But most of those products are designed to put out the current fire. They calm the flare that's happening today. They were never meant to change the conditions that keep starting the fire tomorrow. So please, hear me on this. Nothing I say today is a reason to stop or skip anything your own vet has prescribed. This isn't drops versus no drops. This is about finally dealing with the thing underneath the drops. Let me give you a picture that will make the whole thing click. Imagine the gutter along the roof of a house. Now imagine it's the gutter on the north side, the side that never gets any direct sun. Leaves fall in, water collects, and because the sun never reaches it, it just stays wet. Day after day. And what grows in a gutter that stays dark and wet and clogged? Moss, slime, gunk. You can go up there and scrape it out, and for a little while it looks clean. But if you never clear the leaves and you never let the sun and air get in to dry it out, the moss always comes back. Scraping the moss is the eardrops. It's necessary sometimes, but it's not the fix. The fix is clearing the gutter and letting it breathe. So let's crawl inside your dog's ear and see why it behaves exactly like that shaded gutter. Here's the piece almost nobody explains. A dog's ear canal is not a short, straight tube like ours. It's shaped like an L. It goes down, and then it makes a turn and goes inward. Warm, dark, and folded around a corner. Now, here's the part that matters for you specifically. If you've got a doodle, a cocker, a retriever, a spaniel, any of those wonderful, floppy, hairy-eared dogs. That soft, heavy ear flap lays right down over the opening like a lid. It's adorable. It's also a lid on the gutter. It traps the warmth, it traps the moisture, and it keeps the fresh air out. And a warm, dark, damp, poorly ventilated tunnel is the exact environment that yeast and certain bacteria absolutely love to move into and multiply. That's your moss. I want you to do something with me right now. If your dog is nearby and relaxed, pause this video, gently lift their ear flap, and just take a slow, careful sniff near the opening. Don't dig in, don't poke anything inside, just smell. A healthy ear smells like almost nothing, maybe a faint doggy warmth. But if you catch a sweet, yeasty, kind of musty smell, or a sharp, sour one, that's a clue. That's the gutter telling you the moss is moving in. Go ahead, I'll wait. Now, I see this exact story in my exam room all the time, so picture it with me. Imagine a sweet chocolate doodle whose owner has been through 4 rounds of drops in a single year. Every visit, the same thing. Clean it up, it looks better, everyone goes home happy. And a few weeks later, they're back, more discouraged each time. And the moment we actually stopped, took a tiny swab, and looked at it under the microscope, the picture got clear fast. It was yeast. A lot of it. That little dog wasn't unlucky, and that owner wasn't careless. The gutter just had a lid, and no one had ever shown them how to let it breathe. Once they did, the whole revolving door slowed way, way down. And that's really the heart of it. In my experience, and this is what many vets now believe too, the answer to recurring ear trouble is less about a stronger bottle of drops and much more about routine drying, smart, gentle cleaning, and removing whatever keeps feeding the cycle. So let's fix it. And we're going to do this in 2 parts. First, the outside fix, the stuff you can start tonight to get relief and get ahead of it. Then, the inside fix, the deeper root cause, so this stops coming back for good. Let's start with tonight. The single most powerful, cheapest, safest thing you can do for a floppy-eared dog is simple. Keep the gutter dry and let it breathe. Think about the metaphor. The moss can't grow if the gutter dries out between rains. So here's the correct way to think about moisture. Anytime your dog gets wet, a bath, a swim, a romp in the rain, water sits in that L-shaped canal and just lingers under the lid. Your job is to get it out. After any bath or swim, take a soft cotton ball or a piece of gauze and gently dry the inside of the ear flap and the opening you can easily see and reach. That's it. Do it within a few minutes while it's easy. You are letting the sun into the gutter. Now, the correct way to clean, because this is where a lot of loving owners accidentally cause harm. If you're using an ear cleaner, and I'd point you to a proper drying ear cleaner rather than anything homemade, here's the technique. Gently fill the canal with the cleaner, then massage the base of the ear down low where it meets the head for a solid 20 to 30 seconds. You'll actually hear a soft squishing sound. That's the cleaner loosening the gunk from around that corner where your fingers could never reach. Then step back and let your dog do the thing they're dying to do anyway. Let them shake their head. That shake brings the loosened debris up and out. Only then do you take your cotton and wipe away what comes up to the opening. And here's the vet warning I need you to tattoo on your brain. Never, ever push a cotton swab down into the ear canal. I know it's tempting. It feels like you're getting in there and really cleaning. But that L-shaped turn means you're not pulling gunk out. You're packing it down around the corner, right up against the eardrum, and you can do real damage. Wipe only what you can plainly see. Let the massage and the head shake do the deep work. And please, do not pour homemade vinegar solutions, alcohol, or hydrogen peroxide into an ear that's red, raw, or painful. On angry, inflamed skin that stings terribly, and if the eardrum happens to be damaged, some of those liquids can genuinely hurt your dog. If money's tight and the wipes feel expensive, plain cotton balls or gauze work perfectly for the outside. And one affordable bottle of proper cleaner costs a whole lot less than another round of vet visits. But when in doubt, gentle and dry beats aggressive every single time. So that handles the outside. That gets the moss out and keeps the gutter drier. But here's the thing, and it's the question that keeps every one of my clients up at night. If you're doing all of this, why does it still come back at all? Because we've only fixed the outside. Now we have to fix the inside so it never comes back. And to do that, I have to tell you about the rain. Remember the gutter. You can clear the leaves and let the sun in, but if it's raining onto that roof every single day, the gutter is going to keep filling up. So what's the rain? For a huge number of dogs with recurring ear trouble, the rain is an allergy. This is the part almost nobody connects. When a dog is allergic to something, whether it's something in their environment, like pollen and dust, or something in their food, that allergy causes inflammation. And that inflammation shows up in the skin, and, very often, in the ears. It makes the whole ear canal warmer, wetter, and more welcoming to yeast. So the ears aren't really the disease. A lot of the time, the ears are the smoke, and the allergy is the fire underneath. That's why the drops keep failing. They're mopping the floor while the tap is still running. So the long-term fix, the forever fix, is a partnership with your vet to find and manage that rain. Here's the correct way to approach it. If your dog's ears keep flaring up, ask your vet directly about the underlying cause, and specifically about allergies. Many vets now believe this is the missing piece for chronic ear cases. If a food allergy is suspected, your vet may guide you through a proper elimination diet, and the important number there is patience. A real food trial usually runs about 8 weeks, strictly before you know anything. No shortcuts, no cheating with treats, or the whole test is ruined. If it's environmental, there are real management strategies your vet can walk you through. This is exactly the kind of detective work that a single microscope swab and an honest conversation can start. And it's the thing that finally turns the tap off. On the everyday side of the forever fix, a couple of gentle, supportive habits. Emerging research suggests that supporting healthy skin from the inside can help. And a common, safe way many pet parents do that is a little omega-rich food, like a small amount of plain sardines packed in water a few times a week for an average-sized dog. Here's your budget alternative if fancy skin supplements are out of reach. Those inexpensive tins of sardines in water do a lot of quiet good. And here's your vet warning, because I never skip these. If you ever add something like a broth to their food, make absolutely sure it contains no onion and no garlic. Those are genuinely toxic to dogs, even in small amounts, even cooked into a broth. And introduce any new food one item at a time, or you'll be up cleaning up an upset stomach at 3 in the morning wondering what went wrong. Now, this is the most important block in this entire video, so please don't tune out. I need to draw a very clear line for you between what you can handle at home and what needs a professional today. Everything I've described is for the mild, nagging, recurring cleaning and drying situation. It is not for an emergency. So here are your red flags. If your dog is in obvious pain, crying out or pulling away when you go near the ear, stop and see your vet. If you see blood or thick pus or a truly foul smell, that's a vet visit, not a cotton ball. If the ear flap itself swells up like a pillow, that can be a blood blister called a hematoma, and it needs care. And this one is the big one. If your dog suddenly tilts their head to one side, loses their balance, walks in circles, or their eyes are flicking back and forth, that can mean the problem has gone deep, into the middle or inner ear, and that is an urgent same-day call. Do not clean, do not put anything in the ear, just get to your vet. Home routines are for prevention and mild maintenance. Diagnosis and real infections belong to your veterinarian. Knowing that line is not a weakness, it's you being the best advocate your dog has. All right, let's pull it all together into something you can actually remember. And I'm going to give it a name so it sticks. I call this the Happy Ears Routine. Step 1. After every bath, swim, or soaking, dry the ears gently within a few minutes. Let the sun into the gutter. Step 2. Clean the correct way. Cleaner. Massage the base for 20 to 30 seconds. Let them shake. Wipe only what you can see and never dig deep. Step 3. Do a quick weekly sniff and look so you catch the moss the moment it starts instead of 2 weeks later. And step 4. The big one. Work with your vet to find the rain, the allergy, or underlying cause so you can finally get ahead of the whole thing instead of chasing it. And here's my one gentle challenge to you. You do not have to do all 4 of those tomorrow. Please don't try. If you overhaul everything at once, you'll burn out by the weekend. Instead, pick just one thing from this video. Maybe it's the drying after baths. Maybe it's finally booking that conversation with your vet about allergies. Just one. Start there. Your best friend doesn't need you to be perfect. They just need you to begin. And listen to me for a second before you go. The simple fact that you sat here and watched this whole thing, that you care enough about those ears to learn how they actually work, that proves how much you love them. And trust me, they know it. They feel it every single day. You are your dog's only advocate in this world, and you're clearly a good one. So here's my question of the day, and I'd love your answer down in the comments. What's your dog's name, and which one step are you going to try first? I read as many of your comments as I possibly can, and I love hearing about your dogs by name. If this helped you see those ears in a whole new way, hit that like button because it genuinely helps this channel reach and protect more dogs. And if you've got a friend whose dog is stuck in that same exhausting flap, flap, flap cycle, share this with them. You might just change their dog's life. Picture that hallway again, the one from the start of this video. Picture it quiet. No more head shaking echoing down it. Just your best friend resting easy, ears finally calm. That's what we're working toward. Give your dog a gentle scratch behind the ears for Dr. Ben. Stay safe, trust your instincts, and I'll see you in the next video.